Hi, this is Travis. Today I want to talk about a pretty cool exercise called the preacher curl. And so I'll talk a little bit about why you might want to do it at the end, but let's go ahead and get started for those of you who want to get into this. And this will be a way you can simulate a preacher curl or another exercise called a Scott curl right from your living room. Okay, so you are going to need a little bit of equipment for this one. For many of you who've already done my other videos and you already have some bands and a foam roller, you'll probably have about everything you need. I'm going to use two different bands here, and I'm going to use two different rollers, but the second roller I'm using here is optional. So if you want to see how I hooked up this foam roller, you can definitely check out one of my other videos. Basically all I've done is I've just taken a hollow roller and I fed a band through it, which I've been using these Perform Better bands, and I put some bat grips on it just to give me some handles. Now this is optional though. You could just put this band around your feet. Maybe you want to wear some shoes just to make sure it's not digging into your foot too much. But I'm going to use this just so it's a little more comfortable. And so what I'm also going to do is take one of my longer rollers, okay? And you do sort of need the 3-foot one for this because you're going to have to put that band around the ends kind of wide so it doesn't run into your arms. And so this is going to sort of look like one of those ballpark vendor, carts that they carry. And so all I'm going to do is I just take one end of this band around and I put the other end on the other side. And so all of a sudden what I have is it pins this roller against me, okay? And so I can move it up a little higher or a little bit lower depending on where I want it. But the cool thing is now that's gonna allow me to stabilize my elbows much like you would on one of those angled preacher curl benches. And so what you'll do now is just take a hold of your band that you wanna actually lift with. And I'm just using these yellow and red ones so you can kind of visualize what I'm doing a little bit easier. If you're gonna use this hollow roller, just kind of shore it up so it's equal on both sides. From there, keep your feet sort of close to you. And again, you can decide how low or how high you want this roller to be. You might have to play around with it a little bit. And once you're there, you're just gonna come in and do a curl, okay? So again, I can do both at a time like I'm doing now, okay? I can do one side at a time as well, if you wanna do it that way. Okay, and then you can certainly do something like a hammer curl as well, which is where you're going to keep your thumb kind of pointed up toward the ceiling. And depending on what you want to target, one of the functions of the bicep is to turn your palm in, and we call that supination. So that'll get a little bit more of that bicep area on top. When you keep your palm facing toward you, it emphasizes a little more of the muscle that sits behind your bicep, which we call your brachialis muscle. And then it's also going to get a little more of this forearm muscle called your brachioradialis, okay? And there could be a time and a place for both depending on what kind of muscle development you're looking for. But this is a great exercise. Really allows you to just stabilize at the shoulder, which is a nice thing to do. Sometimes it is good to work some of the stabilizing muscles and some of the muscles we call synergists. But there might be a time and a place where you just want to emphasize a certain muscle group. And so if you're looking to just really emphasize the biceps, many times you're going to fatigue those stabilizers maybe before you fully fatigue the bicep. And so when you have this extra stabilization, it just really allows you to dial that tension in on the biceps without worrying about fatiguing some of the other muscle groups. And for that reason, I think that's probably why it was one of Larry Scott's, prized exercises, and that's why they call it the Scott curl, became the preacher curl. I think initially it was actually called a Garanda curl from what I remember reading a long time ago, because a trainer named Vince Garanda apparently popularized it and showed it to Larry Scott. But in any event, he was apparently one of the first Mr. Olympias to have over 20-inch arms. For those of you though that might not even be interested so much in building up large biceps, sometimes you might just want to emphasize that muscle because of a certain weakness you might have. And so certain types of neck injuries and things like that might have left you with a little bit of bicep weakness. And then if you were to do something like this, it just really allows you to stabilize and emphasize that muscle. And one of the other cool things about this exercise is you can easily do it on the mat or you can do it standing. So you can stand right up with this and it's attached to you, and so you can do it whatever way you like. So there's a lot of versatility here. It's pretty simple and easy to adjust. And again, all you need is a foam roller and a band. So if you like that exercise, definitely try it out. It's kind of a cool one. I was thinking about some different ways to do it for a while, and this is definitely probably the best version I've found so far to simulate that preacher curl bench you might find at a commercial gym. So try this one out if you like it. And as usual, feel free to comment at the bottom. Let me know what you guys think. And I hope you guys have some fun.